What's going on, guys? Hey, hope you're having a great day. It's Joey, the real estate guy. Wanted to record another video on some real estate strategies and how to get in the game of investing into real estate without hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars. So stay tuned and keep watching this video. All right, guys, before we get into it, would you do me a favor? Could you smash the like button and subscribe to my channel? As you see, I'm building out my YouTube channel and still growing it, and you get to be one of the early adapters to help me grow this channel, and love for you guys to be a part of the family. So like and subscribe this video. All right, guys, let's go ahead and get into some real estate strategies and how to start, whether you're a seasoned investor or you're just starting out and wanting to learn more about how to get your foot in the door with real estate. And so before I go into it specifically, I'm going to share two different strategies of how you can get into the game of real estate and just start. But before we do that, I wanted to go through, why is real estate something that I'm even talking about? My full-time job is being a real estate agent. That's my first business that I do. And a lot of times I'm meeting with sellers who are considering selling their home, and we're going over their financial situation and seeing what makes sense financially for them to make a move, whether they're going to upsize or downsize, or even today move out of state. And so I get a little bit of picture of their financial situation, and more often than not, most of my clients, their net worth, their total net worth, 80-90% of it is tied up in their home that they own. And a lot of times they own just one home. And so, that's the case for a lot of friends that I know, family members that I know, and just America as a whole. The majority of America's wealth, if you own a home, is in their house. And we've talked before about the average net worth of a renter and of a homeowner. And I'll remind you real quick, I know I've said it multiple times, but the average net worth of a renter last year was $5,400 last year in America. And versus the average net worth of a homeowner was $328,000. And so there's a reason why that is. And so that just got me even more so thinking that, hey, real estate's important. Let's not overcomplicate how to get to financial freedom, And in my case, I've decided just continue to buy more real estate and rent it out. And so I'm going to share with you two different options and strategies of how to do that. And you don't have to have hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars for the down payment to buy the property. Okay, so let's go through the first one now. But before we go through the first one, like this video, please. Okay, let's go through the first one. So the first one is, and this is what my wife and I are doing, and I have a lot of friends that are doing it this way. The first option is buying a property as your primary home. And you can put actually as little as 3% down, which is really, really cool. So 3% down, as long as it's the first home that you've bought for your primary residence and that you're living in there, your primary residence. And you can put as little as 3% down on the property, and that's a conventional loan. I actually just had a client that just did this. And so you can buy as little as a 3% down and live in that property for a couple years whenever you can afford to buy your second property. Now, you wouldn't be able to put 3% down, but you could put 5% down in this market right now. Once you can afford that 5% down payment plus the closing costs, buy a second one, move into that property, rent out the first one. And you're going to continue doing that process. Now, my wife and I have done that several times, and I have clients that have done this many times. They've acquired 8, 9 properties just by doing this. And so you can repeat that process as much as you want. Now, we're going to go over two benefits of why that option would be something that you should consider. Now, the first option is you can buy properties quicker when you do it through that avenue if you keep moving around. Now, as you can imagine, moving sucks, but there is a benefit because you get you don't have to put 20 to 25% down on the property that you're buying like a investor loan. If you buy a rental property and you're not going to live in it, the lender typically wants 20 to 25% as the down payment. And so that's the first benefit. You can put 5% down and buy the property. You don't have to save up that 20 to 25%. Now the second benefit to this first option is that you're going to get a more preferred interest rate from your lender. Now, it's common for me to see a consumer interest rate is typically 1% less than an investor loan. If I were going to buy a property, put 25% down and keep it as a rental property, typically it's 1% or greater. So I get less down payment to acquire properties, and I get a little bit preferred of an interest rate. Now, before we get into the second option, now I know what you're thinking, Joey, if I only put 3% or 5% down, that's gonna make my monthly payment higher. And you're completely right. It is gonna make your monthly payment higher. However, what I tend to find is that people that have that thinking and are that's the reason what's keeping them from buying real estate, is that your payment's gonna be too high, this or that, are the same people that pay $10 for avocado toast. So if you can wrap your head around paying $10, $12, or sometimes $7, but $10 for avocado toast, and to spend $30, $40 on brunch on Sunday, then something tells me that you probably could afford $200 to $300 in a higher living expense. Now, it's common when you buy real estate, and if you buy it for the first time, your payment per month is going to be a little bit more expensive out the door than what your rent is. And so that is common. I completely understand that. However, it's a really good investment, and if you can wrap your head around that $200-$300, that's a safe investment on yourself than just blowing that money anywhere else. So yes, your living expense might be a little bit higher, but if you have a steady income, steady job, you can afford it. It's not going to take food off the table. Then my recommendation is to take the risk on yourself, because you're going to thank yourself years down the road by doing this. And I always say, if you're going to take a risk, if you're going to get into debt, might as well be with real estate and investing into your family's future. You know, I've never met somebody that on year 30, right after year 30, they just paid their last mortgage payment. I've never met somebody that said, gosh dang it, I wish I never bought that house. That has never happened. Everybody is super thankful. After 30 years, they made that leap. It might have been a little bit of a stretch for them, but they could afford it. It didn't take food off their table. They're super thankful that they bought real estate and that they continue to buy real estate. And you know what? I know the same is true for you, because I know the same is going to be true for myself as well. And so you're going to be glad you took the risk. The educated risk as to buying real estate. So that's the first option, buying a home, living in it. A couple years later, save up that 5%, 10% down on the next one, buy that second one, continue repeating that process and renting out each other property behind you. It's a great way to buy a lot of real estate and to build your wealth, okay? Now let's go ahead and talk about the second option. Now the second option is fairly similar to the first, but I do have a lot of people that I know and clients that don't want to move around every couple years. They want to buy one home, they're very content, they don't want to increase their living expense. They want to buy their home, but they also want to buy real estate investment properties. And so the second option is buying one that or you might have already owned this property that you're living in, but you want to continue investing into real estate, is saving up 20 to 25% down and continue to buy a property as often as you can. Maybe that's every 5 years, every 3 years, but when you have that 20 to 25% down payment, buy that property, rent it out, and then save up money for the next one. Buy it, rent it out, save up money for the next one. Takes a little bit more money to do that, and you're gonna get a little bit higher of interest rate, but you don't have to move around every couple years. So if you don't like that, or if you already own the home that you absolutely love and you don't want to leave it, this is a great option to continue to invest into real estate, but also have the luxury of not having to move around often. All right, guys, so those are the two strategies of getting into real estate without having to save hundreds of thousands of dollars. There is other alternatives into getting your foot in the door. I also have an Excel spreadsheet that goes over buying 5 or 10 homes in a 20-year period and living in each property. If you want me to share that with you, would you comment below? And if enough people are interested in that document that goes over what your net worth could be in 20 or 30 years and what the debt payment, what the debt pay down would be, comment below and I'll include that in the description. Guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I really appreciate it. Would you do me a favor? Like this video and subscribe to my channel. I would really appreciate your help in getting this YouTube channel off the ground, and join the family. We're going to continue talking about real estate and creating financial freedom through real estate and investing into stocks and everything else. But I love your support. So like this video, subscribe to my channel, and share this with somebody who's interested about real estate. I'd really appreciate it. Thanks. Have a good rest of the day.